Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the One Big Beautiful Bill passed by a very close margin, and it's making its way to the president's desk. And folks are heading down to the lake for the long weekend, hoping for a successful holiday.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you at just about 5 o'clock this morning, and it's the 4th of July. And that means we're going to check in with meteorologist Eric Dean this morning for a look at that forecast. Eric, are you wearing a 4th of July tie this morning?
Well, yes. Yes, I am.
Yes, I love it.
Got the red, white, and blue on, my friend. Got the red, white, and blue on. I tell you what, though, today's not going to be a bad day at all, folks. Good morning. The current time is 5 o'clock on the dot. And as always, we'll take a look here at yesterday's almanac. Made it to 85 after a morning start of 63. That 85 is where you should be anyway for this time of year. Just a little bit short on the low end. 66 is our average. No rain yesterday. 94 was the record high. Set back in 2012. 55 was the record low. Set back in 2021. Right now, a beautiful start to your Friday. Temperatures right now in the 60s, even low 70s. Monticello is seeing a temperature of 70 degrees. There's live pinpoint Doppler radar. All is quiet, and this is going to get a nice little vacation, if you will, as we go throughout the weekend. As we get into the first part of next week, rain chances will start to pick up. Today, though, beautiful. Get out and enjoy it. We'll make a run for the upper 80s and low 90s with plenty of sunshine. But the question is, how does this evening look? Because we know we got a lot of places shooting off fireworks. Hazard's one of them. We'll have that coming up in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. But right now, the current time is 5:01. We'll toss it back to Amelia.
Thanks, Eric. We begin this morning with the big story out of Washington. The House passed the GOP's budget bill, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. It passed by a very close margin, 218 to 214. Two Republicans voted against the bill, including Northern Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie. House Speaker Mike Johnson says with this bill, they are going to make the country stronger, safer, and more prosperous than ever before. Congressman Hal Rogers voted for the bill and said in part, quote, "The One Big Beautiful Bill delivers on our promise to provide historic tax relief for the American people, lowers interest rates, reduces the deficit by $2.8 trillion over 10 years, protects vital programs like Medicaid and SNAP benefits, makes our nation more secure, boosts our military defense, and puts America first for job creation and energy production." Congressman Rogers says the Big Beautiful Bill is a victory for Americans. Governor Andy Beshear had a much different opinion, calling it the Big Ugly Bill and saying the passage of it marks a sad day for Kentucky as well as the country. He says the bill risks the lives of 200,000 Kentuckians as well as the jobs of 20,000 healthcare workers. Well, we've talked about how those potential Medicaid cuts could impact rural hospitals. But what about your local county health department? There are a lot of rural departments that rely on Medicaid for their revenue. Samantha Valentino spoke with 3 county health department leaders.
We've always been a safety net. The health department has always been a safety net for those folks that do not have insurance or are underinsured.
Cassie Prather is the Woodford County Public Health Director. She says a significant number of people in the county depend on Medicaid, and on the business end, a third of the department's revenue comes from Medicaid insurance. And if patients stop coming through the door due to a lack of insurance,
if we don't have patients, then, our clinic is not going to be able to function. Our clinic is, still a large part of what we do here at the health department.
If there's funding cuts, it will definitely affect county health departments.
Dr. Steve Davis is the medical director for 20 Kentucky county health departments. The physician of 50 years says some of the rural county health departments he serves, like Estill and Breathitt counties, rely heavily on those who are Medicaid insured. Dr. Davis predicts potential Medicaid cuts could reduce staff.
I don't know that there would be a definite closure, but I would say that there could be a definite hours of services that a health department could be open.
Pete Shepard, the public health director in Magoffin County, says about 85% of the people he serves are Medicaid insured.
If they cut, say, more than probably 30%, it could have a devastating effect on our budget and our health department.
However, Shepard is optimistic everything will work out to the benefit and good health of his Magoffin County citizens.
We're prepared to help the people, the public, and that's what we do, and we will continue doing that, funding or no funding.
In Lexington, with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Dr. Davis says if people lose their Medicaid coverage, they may hesitate to seek medical care and decide to tough out their ailments at home. Well, the Kentucky High School Athletics Association commissioner is talking about State Auditor Allison Ball's report on the State Department of Education. Ball's 500-page report says there's no way to track Title IX and related complaints in high school sports. She says the lack of resources puts students in danger. KHSAA Commissioner Julianne Tackett says they would have to work with KDE to figure out a plan. Tackett says since many coaches are not full-time school employees, and that does not fall under their jurisdiction.
If these accusations are coming about school employees and we don't have authority over school employees, we obviously are going to need some help.
Auditor Ball also wants to see the KHSAA bring back its annual reports to KDE Tackett. Also says that's something they're open to. The Paul E. Patton Eastern Kentucky Veterans Center in Hazard is celebrating the 4th of July in a special way, but also keeping in mind the possible factor of PTSD for some of our local heroes. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino has the story.
For the 4th of July weekend, the Paul E. Patton Veterans Center displayed the flag that honors our country and those who proudly served it.
When we see the flag, that stands for freedom, and freedom is not cheap.
The flag that represents blood, sweat, and tears to so many vets and active servicemen, including one active Navy member who dedicated time on leave from Japan to honor the flag with a special group of veterans she holds near and dear to her heart.
I grew up in the Veterans Center with my mom working here. So coming back to honor them and visiting them with me in my uniform is really like a big thing to me. It really encouraged me to pursue being in the military.
While the servicemen and women encourage Americans to celebrate their freedom this weekend, they also remind folks to be mindful of the veterans that may suffer from loud noises.
I don't think I've ever lived a day through without thinking of something in the past that happened. Last year, you know, I tried to celebrate it, but I had to go inside because it was kind of, I know it's going to make a noise, but I'll jump and it makes me nervous. So therefore I went inside and, you know, people like to celebrate, so I'm all for that. But a veteran that's had traumatic events in their life, fear, scared, could lose their life, and things and make that same kind of noise in life.
As the 4th of July can bring celebration and excitement, but can also be triggering to others.
We want people to recognize that celebration can look differently. And so if you are there celebrating your event, also having just the compassion and the understanding that other people may have to make different choices in order to enjoy the event.
Reminding folks to be mindful and that
freedom doesn't come cheap.
In Perry County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
The Veterans Center hosted a fireworks show for the veterans last night. Well, folks are heading down to the lake for the long weekend, and people who depend on that traffic for their livelihood are hoping for a better holiday weekend than what they saw on Memorial Day. Lee's Ford Marina is expecting a lot of people this 4th of July. The dock has numerous slip customers, but they say the bad weather in late May kept a lot more people from coming down. They're not expecting that to happen this weekend.
You know, God gave us a 90-degree weather and no tornadoes and super clear skies. And so, yeah, we think it's going to be a great, wonderful 4th of July.
Hamilton says the May tornado nearly touched down right on top of the marina, and had it come just 1,000 feet closer, the damage would have been catastrophic. Well, thanks for joining us on Mountain News this morning at 5:08.